My name is Geena, and at 51 years old, I thought I had finally figured out what happiness looked like. I lived in San Diego, California, where the weather was almost always perfect, and the ocean breeze made even the hottest days bearable. My husband Ryan and I had been married for 26 years, and our two sons, Tyler and Brandon, were both away at college on the East Coast. For the first time in decades, Ryan and I had the house to ourselves, and I was looking forward to this new chapter of our lives together. Ryan was a civil engineer who worked on major infrastructure projects throughout Southern California. At 53, he was still handsome, with graying hair that made him look distinguished and warm brown eyes that crinkled when he smiled. I worked as a nurse at a large hospital downtown, specializing in pediatrics. After all these years, I still loved my job, still felt that rush of satisfaction when I helped a sick child feel better. Our life had settled into a comfortable rhythm. We had our routines, our traditions, our circle of friends. Every Sunday morning, I went to the Little Italy Farmers Market, one of my favorite places in San Diego. I loved the vibrant atmosphere, the fresh produce, the artisan vendors, the street performers. It was my time to wander, to people watch, to pick up ingredients for the week's meals. Ryan usually stayed home on Sunday mornings, claiming he needed time to catch up on work emails and projects. I never minded. After 26 years of marriage, we had learned that spending some time apart made our time together more valuable, or so I thought. That particular Sunday in early October was gorgeous, with bright sunshine and a cool breeze coming off the Pacific. I woke up early, showered, and dressed in comfortable jeans and a light sweater. Ryan was already up, sitting at the kitchen table with his laptop open and a cup of coffee in his hand. Heading to the market? He asked, without looking up from his screen. Yes, the usual. Do you need anything special this week? No, whatever you pick up is fine, he said, his attention still on his computer. I'll probably go for a run later. I kissed the top of his head and grabbed my reusable shopping bags. See you in a few hours? The drive to Little Italy took about 25 minutes from our house in the suburbs. I found parking a few blocks away and walked toward the market, already feeling my spirits lift as I heard the lively music and saw the colorful vendor tents lining the streets. The market was crowded, as always on Sunday mornings. Families with strollers, couples holding hands, groups of friends laughing together, everyone enjoying the beautiful day. I stopped at my favorite vegetable stand and picked up fresh tomatoes, zucchini, and herbs. Then I moved on to the fruit vendor, selecting perfectly ripe peaches and a basket of strawberries. I was browsing the artisan bread table when I heard a laugh that made me freeze. It was familiar, unmistakably familiar. Ryan's laugh, that deep, genuine sound that I had heard thousands of times over our 26 years together. But he was supposed to be at home. I turned around, scanning the crowd, telling myself I must have been mistaken. But then I heard it again, closer this time, mixed with a woman's lighter laughter. My heart started pounding as I moved through the crowd, following the sound. And then I saw them. Ryan and my cousin Jessica were standing at a churro stand, sharing a plate of the fried pastries dusted with cinnamon sugar. They were standing close together, their body language relaxed and comfortable. Jessica said something I couldn't hear, and Ryan threw his head back laughing, then playfully nudged her shoulder. She nudged him back, and they both laughed again, like two teenagers flirting. I stood frozen about 20 feet away, partially hidden behind a flower vendor's tent, unable to believe what I was seeing. Jessica was my first cousin, the daughter of my mother's sister. She was 38, divorced for 2 years, and had recently moved to San Diego from Phoenix after her marriage fell apart. I had been the one to help her find an apartment, to introduce her to friends, to include her in family gatherings. She and I had always been close, more like sisters than cousins. And now she was at the farmer's market with my husband, sharing churros and laughing like they were on a date. I watched as Ryan reached over and wiped a bit of cinnamon sugar from the corner of Jessica's mouth with his thumb. The gesture was intimate, tender, the kind of thing you do with someone you're comfortable with, someone you care about. Jessica's face flushed, and she smiled up at him with an expression I recognized all too well. It was the way a woman looks at a man she has feelings for. My shopping bag slipped from my hands, oranges rolling across the pavement. Several people nearby turned to look, including Ryan and Jessica. For a split second, our eyes met across the crowd. I saw Ryan's face change from relaxed happiness to shock to something like fear. Jessica's expression mirrored his, her smile disappearing as she realized I was there. I didn't wait for them to approach me. I turned and walked quickly back toward my car, leaving my scattered groceries behind, not caring about the curious looks from other market-goers. My hands were shaking so badly I could barely get my key into the car door. Once inside, I sat there, gripping the steering wheel, trying to process what I had just witnessed. Ryan and Jessica, my husband and my cousin, at the farmer's market together, sharing churros, laughing, touching each other with a familiarity that spoke of something more than casual friendship. How long had this been going on? How many Sunday mornings had Ryan claimed to be working at home while actually meeting Jessica? How many times had I invited her to family dinners, welcomed her into our home, never suspecting that she was betraying me? My phone buzzed with a text from Ryan. "Geena, please, it's not what it looked like. Can we talk?" Not what it looked like? I didn't respond. I started the car and drove home, my mind racing with questions and doubts and a growing sense of betrayal that threatened to overwhelm me. When I pulled into our driveway 15 minutes later, Ryan's car was already there. He must have left the market immediately after I did. I sat in my car for a moment, gathering the strength to go inside and face him. As I walked through the front door, I found Ryan pacing in the living room, his phone in his hand. He looked up when he heard me, relief and anxiety warring on his face. "Geena, thank God you're home. We need to talk about what you saw." I set my purse down on the hall table, my movements deliberate and controlled, even though I felt like I was falling apart inside. "Yes, Ryan, we certainly do need to talk. Why don't you start by explaining why you were at the farmer's market with my cousin when you told me you were staying home to work?" He ran his hand through his hair, a nervous gesture I knew well. "I know how it looked, but I promise you, nothing inappropriate is happening between Jessica and me." "Really?" Because from where I was standing, it looked very inappropriate. "You were feeding her churros, Ryan. You wiped cinnamon sugar from her mouth. You were looking at each other like you were the only two people in the world." "We're friends," he said, but his voice lacked conviction. "She's been going through a hard time since her divorce, and I've been trying to support her." "Support her? That's what you call it?" My voice rose despite my attempt to stay calm. "I've been supporting her, Ryan. I'm the one who helped her move here. When did you decide you needed to support her too? And why did that require lying to me about where you were on Sunday mornings?" He looked away, unable to meet my eyes, and I knew there was more to this story than he was admitting. "How long has this been going on?" I asked, my voice shaking now. "It's not like that, Geena." "Then tell me what it's like, because I'm dying to know how you justify this betrayal." The word hung in the air between us. Betrayal. And I could see in Ryan's face that he knew, deep down, that's exactly what this was. Ryan sank onto the couch, his head in his hands. I remained standing, my arms crossed, waiting for him to explain. The silence stretched between us, filled with 26 years of history and trust that was crumbling by the second. "It started about 3 months ago," he finally said, his voice barely above a whisper. "Jessica called me one evening when you were working a night shift. She was upset about something her ex-husband had done, and she needed someone to talk to. So she called my husband instead of me. You were at work. She didn't want to bother you there. So I talked to her, and we ended up talking for over an hour. It was nice, you know, just talking to someone about things that didn't involve work deadlines or household repairs." I felt a pang in my chest. How long had it been since Ryan and I had just talked, really talked, about our thoughts and feelings? "After that, she started texting me occasionally," Ryan continued. "Nothing inappropriate, just checking in, sharing funny things she saw. It felt harmless." "When did it stop being harmless?" I asked. He looked up at me, and I could see the conflict in his eyes. "I don't know exactly. It happened gradually. About 6 weeks ago, she mentioned she had never been to the Little Italy farmers market, and I suggested we meet there one Sunday." The calculation in his words stung. He had deliberately planned to meet Jessica at a place he knew I frequented, timing it so our paths wouldn't cross. "So you've been meeting her for 6 weeks? Every Sunday while I thought you were home working?" "Not every Sunday," he said. "Maybe 5 or 6 times." "And what exactly do you do during these secret meetings?" "We walk around the market, try different foods, talk about life." She's been lonely since her divorce, and honestly, Geena, I've been lonely too. "Lonely? You're married to me. We live in the same house, sleep in the same bed. How can you be lonely?" Ryan stood up, frustration evident on his face. "When was the last time we had a real conversation? When was the last time you asked me about anything other than whether I paid the electric bill? We've become roommates, Geena, efficient partners in running a household, but we've stopped being connected as people. His words hit me like a physical blow because there was truth in them. Since the boys had left for college, Ryan and I had fallen into a routine that was comfortable but emotionally empty. That's not an excuse for what you've done, I said, fighting back tears. If you were unhappy, you should have talked to me about it. We could have gone to counseling. Instead, you found emotional intimacy with my cousin, of all people. I know, he said, his voice breaking. I know it was wrong, but it just happened, Geena. Jessica understands me in a way that feels effortless. Do you have feelings for her? The question came out before I could stop it. Ryan was silent for a long moment, and that silence told me everything I needed to know. I don't know, he finally admitted. I care about her. I enjoy spending time with her, but I don't want to lose you, Geena. I don't want to lose our marriage. You should have thought about that before you started an emotional affair with my cousin, I said, my voice cold now. Do you realize what you've done? You haven't just betrayed me. You've destroyed my relationship with Jessica. You've made every family gathering awkward. I never meant for it to go this far, he said. My phone rang, and I looked down to see Jessica's name on the screen. I let it go to voicemail. A moment later, a text came through. Geena, please, we need to talk. I'm so sorry. I silenced my phone and looked back at Ryan. I need you to leave, I said quietly. Go stay at a hotel. I can't be in this house with you right now. Geena, please. Now, Ryan, pack a bag and go. He looked like he wanted to argue, but something in my expression must have convinced him. He nodded slowly and went upstairs. 15 minutes later, he came back down with a duffel bag. I'm sorry, he said from the doorway. I know that doesn't fix anything, but I am truly sorry. I didn't respond. I just stood there as he walked out the front door. Only when I was sure he was gone did I allow myself to completely break down. I sank onto the couch and cried harder than I had in years. Not just for the betrayal, but for the loss of the life I thought I had, for the trust that had been shattered, for the family relationships that would never be the same. The next few days were a blur of difficult conversations. I called in sick to work, unable to face my coworkers with red, swollen eyes. I finally answered Jessica's calls on Tuesday evening, 3 days after discovering them at the farmer's market. Geena, thank God, she said when I picked up. I've been so worried. Please, can we meet and talk about this? I don't know what there is to talk about, Jessica. You were sneaking around with my husband. It wasn't like that, she insisted. Nothing physical happened between us. We were just friends. Friends don't hide their friendship from family, I shot back. Friends don't meet in secret. There was silence. Then I heard her crying. I never meant to hurt you. You've been so good to me since I moved here. I don't know how it happened, Geena. Ryan and I just connected, and I was so lonely after my divorce. You didn't think about how this would affect me? Your cousin? The woman who helped you rebuild your life? I did think about it, she said, her voice choked with tears. All the time. I felt guilty every time I saw you, but I couldn't seem to stop. Being with Ryan made me feel wanted again. Her words made me sick. So my marriage was collateral damage in your quest to feel wanted? That's not fair, Geena. Ryan reached out to me too. Don't you dare try to shift all the blame onto him, I said, my voice rising. You knew he was married. You knew he was my husband. You're right, she said quietly. I've ruined everything. I'm so sorry, Geena. Sorry doesn't fix this, Jessica. What can I do? You can stay away from my husband. You can give me space to figure out what I want to do with my marriage. We hung up, and I felt emotionally drained. Now I had to figure out what to do about Ryan. He had been staying at a hotel and texting me daily, asking to talk. I finally agreed to meet him at a coffee shop near the hospital. When I arrived, he was already there, looking haggard and exhausted. Thank you for meeting me, he said as I sat down. I'm not here to reconcile, Ryan. I'm here to understand what happened. He nodded. I've been thinking a lot about how we got here. Our marriage has been struggling for a while, probably since the boys left for college. Go on, I said. When Tyler and Brandon were home, we had a shared purpose. We were a team raising our kids. But once they left, we didn't know how to be just the two of us anymore. We stopped talking about anything meaningful. We stopped going on dates. I wanted to argue, but I couldn't because he was right. That still doesn't excuse what you did, I said. Lots of couples go through empty nest syndrome. They don't all start emotional affairs. I know, and I'm not trying to excuse my behavior. I'm trying to explain how I was vulnerable to making such a terrible mistake. Why Jessica? I asked, the question that had been haunting me. Ryan sighed deeply. I didn't choose her, not consciously anyway. She was there. She needed support, and talking to her felt easy. She reminded me of how you used to be when we first met, enthusiastic about life, open, curious. His words stung, but I understood what he meant. I had changed over the years too. The responsibilities of work and raising children had worn away some of my spontaneity. Do you love her? I asked. Ryan looked at me directly. No, I care about her, and I enjoyed her company, but I don't love her. She was an escape from real life. Your real life, Geena. You're the woman I've built a life with, the mother of my children. That's what I want, but I realize I might have destroyed it. I felt tears welling up again. You did destroy it, Ryan. You destroyed my trust, my sense of security in our marriage. I know, he said, his own eyes glistening, and I will spend the rest of my life trying to earn back your trust if you'll let me. I'll go to counseling. I'll do whatever it takes. Please, Geena, don't give up on us. I looked at this man I had loved for so long, and I felt torn between anger and sadness. I need time, I finally said. I need space to figure out if I can forgive you, if I can trust you again. How much time do you need? I don't know. Maybe weeks, maybe months. But I need you to respect that and not push me. He nodded. I'll give you all the time you need. We finished our coffee in silence, and as I drove home alone, I wondered if our marriage could survive this betrayal. 3 months passed in a strange state of limbo. Ryan stayed at a hotel, then moved into a short-term rental apartment. We met weekly for coffee, awkward conversations where we tried to navigate the wreckage of our marriage. I started seeing a therapist, Dr. Patricia Williams, who specialized in infidelity and betrayal trauma. She helped me understand that my feelings were normal. She also helped me see how both Ryan and I had contributed to the erosion of our marriage, though she was clear that Ryan's choice was his responsibility alone. The hardest part was dealing with the family fallout. My mother called in tears after hearing what happened, devastated that her niece had betrayed her daughter. There were awkward conversations with other family members. Jessica had kept her distance, as promised. I heard through the family that she was dating someone new, trying to move on. My sons came home for Thanksgiving, and I had to explain what had happened. Tyler was furious with his father. Brandon was more understanding, but still hurt. Are you getting divorced? Brandon asked. I don't know yet, I answered honestly. I'm still trying to figure out if I can forgive your father, if our marriage is worth saving. That Thanksgiving was bittersweet. Ryan joined us for dinner at the boys' request, and we all made an effort to be cordial, but the tension was palpable. In December, Ryan and I started couples counseling with Dr. Martinez. The sessions were intense, forcing us to confront not just Ryan's betrayal, but years of accumulated distance in our relationship. You both stopped nurturing your marriage, Dr. Martinez observed. When did you last show interest in each other's inner lives? We both had to admit that we couldn't remember. Our marriage had become functional but not fulfilling, but acknowledging our shared responsibility didn't erase Ryan's betrayal. There were nights when I lay awake, replaying that scene at the farmer's market. Ryan was trying hard to rebuild trust. He gave me complete access to his phone and email. He sent me articles he thought I'd enjoy. He planned dates that reminded me of our early relationship, picnics at the beach, walks through Balboa Park. Slowly, I began to soften. The anger started to transform into something more complex, sadness for what we had lost, but also tentative hope. In February, on Valentine's Day, Ryan showed up at my door with flowers and a handwritten letter. Read this when you're ready, he said. But first, I want to say something. I waited. Geena, I know I broke your trust in the worst possible way, but I want you to know that losing you has been the worst experience of my life. You are the best thing that ever happened to me, and I was a fool to take you for granted. I read his letter, pages of apology, reflection, and commitment. He wrote about specific memories from our years together. He wrote about his dreams for our future. When I finished, I looked up at him through my tears. I don't know if I can fully trust you again, Ryan. I'm not asking you to forget, he said gently. I'm asking you to forgive eventually, if you can. And I'm asking you to give us another chance. I thought about it for a long moment. Finally, I said, I want to try. Not because I've forgotten what happened, but because I believe we're worth fighting for. But there are conditions. Anything. Complete transparency, always. Regular date nights, no excuses. We stay in therapy. And it's completely over with Jessica. It is, Ryan said firmly. I haven't spoken to her since that day, and I never will again, at least not in any way that isn't transparent to you. I nodded. Then let's try. Ryan moved back home the following week. It wasn't easy at first. There were awkward moments, but there were also moments of genuine connection. We made an effort to really talk to each other again, not just about logistics, but about our hopes and dreams. We started a tradition of Sunday morning walks on the beach, reclaiming that time and making new memories. By spring, our relationship felt transformed. It wasn't the naive partnership we'd had before. It was something deeper, forged through pain and conscious choice. We had learned not to take each other for granted. One Sunday morning in April, Ryan suggested we go to the Little Italy farmers market. I tensed, and he noticed. We don't have to, he said quickly. I just thought it might help to create new memories there. I thought about it. The farmers market had been my happy place, and I had avoided it. Maybe it was time to reclaim it. Okay, I agreed. Let's go. Walking through the market together felt strange at first, but then Ryan took my hand, bought me a bouquet of my favorite flowers. We walked through the market together, trying samples, listening to street musicians, talking and laughing. And slowly, I felt the painful memory being replaced with something new. At the churro stand, Ryan paused. Do you want to get some? I looked at the stand, at the cinnamon-covered pastries that had been such a painful symbol. Then I looked at Ryan, at the hope and love in his eyes, and I made a choice. Yes, I said. Let's get some. We sat on a bench eating churros, and Ryan reached over and wiped a bit of cinnamon from my cheek. But this time, it was different. This time, it was honest and open. Thank you, Ryan said softly, for giving us another chance. I won't waste it. See that you don't, I replied, smiling despite the tears in my eyes. Our story hadn't ended that day in October when I discovered their betrayal. It had simply entered a new chapter, one that required courage, forgiveness, and conscious commitment every single day. And as we walked through the farmers market hand in hand, I felt at peace with our journey, knowing that whatever challenges lay ahead, we would face them together with honesty and love.